Mr. Malick, you've heard what Fahad has to say, that we are expecting something concrete coming out of this, and it is not going to be something ambiguous, something that has not done justice to the complete thing. But my question remains that why should we expect something different? Because there is a trajectory involved, there is a history involved. Do you actually think that establishment is going to back off? And this particular judgment, whatever judgment it might be, should be seen as a decisive moment in the judiciary's quest for their independence?
I don't think we should. I sort of disagree with Fahad. I don't think this matter is going to reach a logical conclusion that we all were hoping for. Let's first talk about Shaukat Siddiqui for a second. Judge Siddiqui was given relief on purely technical grounds. The Supreme Court found faults with the disqualification process, and whether he was given a fair hearing and blah, 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 all that's a long debate. But he was given relief on violation of the code of conduct, and the court ruled no, he did not. So it's a different thing. I think confusing Justice Siddiqui's exoneration or revival or restoration or whatever with an actual, what you call, authenticating his version of other related events would be a little stretch. Why am I not so optimistic about this? For two reasons. We have to talk very carefully because we're talking about the Supreme Court here. This letter by the 6 judges has as much to do with internal politics between the judges' camp as much it has to do with the reality of intervention by intelligence agencies. Absolutely. There's absolutely not an iota of doubt that intelligence agencies have been, are doing so, and probably in the future also they will continue doing so, and that is influence and try to control certain judicial outcomes. But having said that, look at how the Chief Justice, I think it's the Chief Justice who's been put in a dock or in a no-win situation by my earlier comment that I said it's got something to do with the internal thing also. Everybody knew by Sunday evening that Justice Tasadduq Jilani is pulling out. Monday morning, the same Chief Justice said that he had suggested a commission and given names and everything, turns into a suo moto. Just doesn't make sense. Like, why? The natural course of things should have been, okay, if one judge has accused himself, let's say Jilani Saab has accused himself, there's a suggested name was Nasrul Mulk Saab. Did they even talk to Nasrul Mulk? Or did they even have a third option? Suddenly he's to and fro. First, there's a hue and cry. First, he gives an explanation. Look, you know, I didn't have the executive powers, blah, 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 when I came to know about it. If Umar Bandial Saab, he did not call me, he did not consult me, okay, forget it. Let's not go there. Now you become the Chief Justice. The letter comes to you and it accuses the executive of, because the letter says the intelligence agencies on the directive of the executive are doing this. So, and they wanted this whole thing to be judged and discussed at the judicial forum. They first wanted calling of a judicial conference of all the High Court judges and everything, so it could be discussed. So your judiciary comes to you, writes a letter to you, accusing the executive of ordering intelligence agencies to manipulate, harass and everything. You as a Chief Justice, in fact, go to the same executive, call them over, you give names, and then the thing rolls. So was it a bailout? I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea for IB or police and others to investigate. It should be done by a person who is, you know, in line with sensitivities or realizes the sensitivities of judiciaries and all those involved. So he's again talked about things are going towards another commission. So if you're going to another commission, then there was already a commission. Why a suo moto? I just think everybody's trying to diffuse the situation. And okay, you form a commission and it's done by a full court of Supreme Court. Yes, it will sound greater, it will have a...
Okay, before...
And one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
His decision of Dharna case holds the field. If he could just get that implemented, we wouldn't have the need for all these commissions and all that. If there had been accountability in that case, today these judges would have been safe. We wouldn't be needing these commissions. Why doesn't the Supreme Court first focus on implementing the verdicts it has already delivered, then to run after verdicts or directives that may come in future, that may need to be implemented, and blah, blah, blah. You already have things in your hand. Get them implemented. So I think it's a lot of, there's a lot of fog around this whole issue. I don't see it going anywhere.
All right, Mr. Zahid Hussain, I'll engage you in the debate as well. In your own words, the judges have spoken, and the rot is much deeper than it seems. Can you elaborate that?
Well, I think this kind of allegations have been made in the past too, but not that publicly. It is the first time that 6 judges have written about it. And whatever happened to them, and it's when you read the letter, it's basically a harrowing story of whatever has been done to the judges who has refused to comply with the instructions of the power B. But I think probably the difference between this letter and Shaukat Siddiqui's is very different. The circumstances were very different at that point, and obviously the Judicial Commission at that point had sacked him, not because of him, but basically the way he spoke to. I think it was the wrong decision, reversed by the Supreme Court this time. But this letter has much greater implications. Number one, the circumstances in which they have been written is a very different one, and it has created a political it has fueled an already volatile situation, and it has become a very explosive situation now. And the other thing is that the legal fraternity itself, it has taken a stand. It has been demanding that certain action should be taken, and that has forced the Supreme Court to take so much notice. The open trial is the first time in the history, and all those things are being debated, which had not done in the past. But what's going to happen, one has to see, because it is not, the judges have spoken. Now it is up to the Supreme Court to uphold the sanctity of the institution. But I think probably the very fact that debate has been started, that some of the things which have been been happening, but not spoken that openly, now come up to surface. What can Supreme Court do? Yes, I think a lot to do. The judges have demanded, the 6 judges who have written the letter have demanded that some kind of framework should be made, and I think probably the Supreme Court will have to do something about it.